Now, there's an argument that I cooked too hard on the name. It's probably a fair argument. I spent like 15 minutes for this thing. Really, like, I wanted to have it to do with San Francisco. And, like, so few people will actually, like, understand what it means. But if you really like movies, like, it will, you know? Also, like, kind of cooked today. Which it might be more accurate to say I'm usually feeling the exact same way. That's not true. I feel worse today than I usually do. Well, the deal. Um, I didn't go yesterday, so I want to go today. I like to keep semi-consistent. Now I've been inconsistent, obviously, but um, I think the name's great. My only like not nitpick about it is I just used a call this, or I used a call me. Which call me is my classic. I call this a little bit of a twist, but I just used one like last week. Call it baseball. Oh no, I use call it baseball because I'm jamming. Now I'm going with call this off-season Vertigo because it'll be a San Francisco classic. I mean, this one's clearly slightly better, at least. It's a pretty good title. You have to admit it. It's absolutely fantastic title if you understand what it means. Okay. I think it's all set. Not too concerned about this side of things. I think I'm chill here. I don't know how that works. So I can look here probably. Yeah, we're good. Chill for a little bit. I might do like I don't know, man. I was thinking I could do like a movie to movie or something on the Vertigo theme. You know, I love daily games. I don't like the sports daily games at all. I don't like any of the immaculate grid stuff. Like I don't find it fun, which is insane because I love like naming random baseball players. But I've never had fun with the immaculate grid stuff or any of that things. Any of that things, not those things, that things. Let's bring this up. I also changed mic settings, so hopefully it's not terrible. I didn't feel like checking it, and I should have checked it. But it's so much work, you know. Might be a little bit too loud. Might be. I mean, I can just turn it down here. I might also just be speaking a little, tiny bit louder. It's way easier to change it on my actual mic. Problem is, I have to have it at full volume for it to actually work correctly, which is probably something wrong in my settings somewhere, but whatever, whatever, whatever. Mm, yeah, I'm good. I mean, we can do a quick movie to movie while I'm going, I guess. I got this. Actually, I don't feel like it because I have to get a browser capture going, so I'll just start playing. I will start playing. I gotta like do the international free agent stuff anyways before anything interesting happens. I took a look at the Korean postings, nothing really interesting. I guess one thing I'd kind of like to see is like you can go to posted players. Also, there is none. Are these guys not available anymore? It was a little bit ago. They do feel really easy to miss sometimes because you just get like one post about it. One singular post. And it was 8 days ago, but it feels like you should. Now you can't sign him anymore. And to be fair, obviously you would never actually want to sign this guy. Well, he's just not worth it for $15 million or this pitcher. But like I'm sure sometimes there are players worth looking at. But I don't check the news tab like every single day, you know. I sim a little bit. So maybe that's a me problem, but I wish there was a little bit more. Like I wish it pinged you for that stuff. I guess is what I'm saying. I suppose. Hunter Goodman's such a funny player. The fact that he's actually like a serviceable catcher is the most interesting part about his entire like profile. So I feel like we haven't seen a catcher like him in the MLB in like recent memory. Um, I did a Rockies out of the park save not too long ago where I had him. I forgot that I can. Yeah, we should be good. I had him, and he was like not a good enough catcher and out of the park, so I had to play him in left field or something like that. Braves move on to the World Series. Unfortunate. Let's look at the international free agents. Obviously, you can do a lot of stuff here. And one thing is kind of so weird having this potential. There's really only one good player, and that's crazy. Like going crazy, like there's usually way more. Maybe they nerfed it. Because this is a not great looking class. If I do have to say so. I feel like I have to. Yeah, I have to say it. Not a great looking class. Like this guy sucks. This guy's bad. I don't want this guy. He's got literally like no movement abilities. I mean, I guess my scout also has no idea what he is. Very, very low. Interesting. Interesting. How is this guy like? I get the stuff's good, but also he's terrible. Like, the control's bad, the movement's bad. I can't imagine trying to develop a player like Enrique Martinez. Nope, that was worse. I don't know how I got worse than the first time. Um, his signature pitch is a very good fastball. Those are three really good pitches. OSA doesn't like him close to as much. OSA is might be more accurate on him too than my scout. Should I fire my scout? Should I fire him? Yeah, yeah, he'll be fired. He'll be fired when the season ends. So I might just. Can I wait? I don't think I can. I don't think I can wait on this. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna annoy me if this is here. Um, so I got to get my international guys going right now because I won't be able to fire him until like after the season happens is when I'll do it. So which guys are actually good is the primary question that I want to see. Hector Guerrero, I think, is really good, and then my scout thinks he's like the worst player he's ever seen. Apparently, he doesn't even like think he's okay. Which is kind of crazy. He has him at 48 potential. Like, how does this happen? How does that work? Apparently, my scout just kind of like hates every single player here. Like, he just completely disagrees with OSA. And I find that kind of insane. I kind of feel like I need a new scout. Um, let's sim until here, I guess. And hopefully the World Series is done. Randy Rodriguez is never playing for us again. Hopefully the World Series is done by the time. I guess I need the time to hire a scout anyways, so it's not really a deal. Whatever. Whatever. Get on that's the playoff roster. Get on the roster. There we go. Let's just do the international scouting then. And I'll let them auto do it, I guess. It's kind of semi unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Not much. Not much. Um, maybe I should have waited. We might be able to hire a new head scout by the time that everything occurs. Our head scout says that our team is bad. Apparently, Jackson Flores is performing well. He was kind of cooking because he really struggled at the beginning of his reign there or whatever. Fan loyalty drops. Why? I don't know who Rowan Wick is. Coming back from Tommy John, not very good. How does he have a team option for $800,000? Like, what is that contract? I think I'll pass though. Not really any reason to keep him on the team. We have some money. We have some goals that I won't pay attention to because I'm just that kind of guy. How is Justin LeBron this high? Does he look better than he did at the draft? Nah, kinda looks the same. Kinda looks, because I could have taken him. Could have. I mean, his power is actually developing. That's like very low. So I'm like, didn't really trust that he was actually had 70 grade power, you know? Flora is up here too. Very cool. Who is our other guys? What team are we? San Francisco. Josuar. He was very young. He's cool though. Good potential. We'll get him going in the dev lab. Also, I might... Can I change dev lab settings right now? Or do I have to wait? I guess I'll keep it regular. I've seen people be like, oh, you can turn it up sort of thing, and it's kind of fun. And not super OP. Kind of like the idea of that. Because a lot of times they just like don't improve. And feels more realistic that you can like train a lot more players than like 6, you know? It is a little bit OP, I think, for like fielding stuff some of the time. Some of the times. Where is the dev lab stuff? I might not also be able to change it now that it's technically started. It's not here, I don't think. Under options, maybe? Under options? I don't see it. I do not see it. And I can't like search or anything. Dev lab. Dev lab. I could have just missed it. It's quite possible, I would say. Minor league. Fictional. Dev lab. I feel like there is a specific slot for dev lab stuff. Maybe it's not here, too. Maybe it's not here. Check through here. Players and team, maybe? Dev lab. Can I change dev lab size? If you made it like more players, it might be fun. I think this is fine. This is fine. I don't know how this works. Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing, to be honest. That potential influences minor league numbers. Interesting. Okay. Like what if we turn it to like 14? Does that immediately take effect? Does. I kind of like that vibe. I don't want to turn it up like too much. But I do like the idea of having more dev lab slots. And you can like modify more players as long as the AI also technically gets that. Because you got to think like the initial 8 slots are like having 8 of them is a limitation, but also the more slots you get, the worse kinds of players that you're using those slots on. So it's like each additional slot is less valuable than the slot before it, if that makes any sense. Because you're using it on a worse player. That's why going from like 8 to 14 might not be the biggest jump that you could really like, not as big a jump as it might seem on the surface, I guess. Okay. So what do we got to do here? First thing I want to do is fire the staff that I got to fire. I kept them through the year, and honestly, like, most of them did a really good job. So, like, I think I'm going to keep Justin McCage. That's a crazy name. I'm going to keep Justin McCage because he did a really good job. I think I'm completely happy keeping Hunter Mentz as the hitting coach. Because honestly, I think he did a good job with our hitters. And maybe I'll consider changing that in the future, but happy with it now. Um, Maybe the base coaches or something I'd consider changing up. Like, I'm probably going to fire Hunter Borg. He's just not very good at his job in Out of the Park. I assume he's a real person, nothing against him as a human being. Not very good ratings in Out of the Park. And scouting director. He's fine. He is not good enough for me to want to keep. Next up, Manasian. Manasian? I don't know. One of them. I've definitely heard his name been said before. Doesn't really deserve to be an assistant GM because he's a GM in real life. So I feel like it's weird to keep him. And then Anthony Reyes is a bad team trainer. So he's gone. So we got our foundational pieces, and these guys, and Tangler is good enough. Not too worried about it. And he sees good relationships, so I'm gonna keep him. I'm going to keep him. So the big thing is the scouting director. I mean, you want the best guy available, and I mean, what do you want me to do? Not hire this guy? Not hire Ryan McGuire? That seems crazy to me to not hire him. Who is he? I mean, he's obviously a real life person. He has played baseball. But he's is he like a real coach, or did the game auto make him a coach? I think the game might have auto made him a coach. So I don't see anything about him on his Wikipedia page. Post his MLB career. Baseball. Also kind of like allergies still affecting me. I don't really see what he is doing now. Maybe like being a dad. But in the game, he's the best scouting director I've ever seen by lieu of having all legendary, which is good. It's quite good. Again, the best ever that you could get. It doesn't really matter what his stuff is, what his random things. And I like having these on auto because I don't really care about my stuff. I don't care about my stuff. I want prevent arms because I don't want my pitchers dying. That is my goal. Everyone knows Jamieson. I'm not gonna hire him because it's like everyone hires him. My guy might be Kaufman, as long as he's yeah. The rehab arms is a little concerning to me, but it's not the biggest deal to be completely honest. Especially when other people are close to as bad. Could go like Everett Justice or something like that. It's also great fatigue recovery. He's not as good at preventing other stuff. So yeah, honestly, I think the move. I think the move is going to be Kaufman. He's just so good at preventing injuries, and that's the key, right? At least he's not poor in rehabbing arms. But again, I mean, the poor fatigue recovery does suck a little bit. He's kind of mediocre. So maybe we do go with somebody else. I would like at least excellent here, though. At least excellent. So maybe John Langseth is the guy. Maybe he's our guy. Could go with like this, but they're just not good at the other stuff. Yeah, Langseth might be our guy here. Preventing legs is just okay. Excellent fatigue recovery, though. Pretty good overall at preventing injuries. Mm. I'm always going to focus on prevention. Obviously, like, recovery is kind of important too. But prevention is the biggest factor. So it's really between Kaufman, which is really it's only the poor fatigue recovery that is the concern here. Um, and is a valid concern because I like my guys to be able to play and not get tired. If it was like okay, I'd be completely fine with going for him. The fact that it's poor is kind of bad. So a guy like this, who's not quite as good at prevention, so definitely better at rehabbing though, and also excellent at fatigue recovery. Hmm. Let's go Langseth. He's fun. Fun name, I guess. Kind of. Moderately. Okay. Um, we need a third base coach who is good at stuff. Ideally, he's good at things. Maybe teaching things, but mostly in-game running things. 'Cause that's his primary job. Um, who do we want though? Yeah, all these guys are pretty good. Robert Borkowski. Kind of insane though. Kind of insane. I just like his name too. I might hire him to be my third base coach. Third base coach. Cool. He's temperamental. I mean, it's fine. I think. Look at our staff roles. Yeah, only one of our guys doesn't like that. That's alright. As long as he likes personable people. That's really a big thing. Or doesn't mind them. He does struggle with personable. We might not be able to hire you if you struggle with personable. I don't really want all our people getting angry. It's not worth it for a third base coach when there are other third base coaches that I could hire. And Bachelor is obviously good. Obviously good. Easygoing, temperamental, and he is normal. Where am I going, man? Tom kind of cooked. Staff rolls. Easygoing, he's normal. All our guys are personable. I could literally create the best staff you've ever seen and just have them all be personable and like personable. It'd be great if some of them didn't hate personable. So I really do want a guy that like is personal or likes personable guys. Would be ideal. Lee Evans does. Why was I not thinking of hiring him? I don't know. I'll hire you, Lee Evans. What is his thingy? He's temperamental, but that's fine. That's all right. He likes personable people. And then we just need our assistant GM to help us out with all the fancy stuff. And ideally somebody that I assume all these guys are like actual GMs that aren't GMs in the game because they are like above GM, like vice president or whatever, but like a normal team's GM, like DePodesta for the Rockies. I feel like this guy's is he White Sox maybe? I don't know. There's not that many people that have preferences because you have to be listed as a GM to have a preference. Value ratings maybe. Scout value. Marco. That's prospects. GM ratings. Maybe I will hire one of these guys. I like hiring the unproven guys, like Cash, though he does hate scouting. Not sure I vibe with that. Not sure I vibe with that, but it really doesn't matter. He works well with personable. That works. I can deal with that. He will be the next general manager of some bad team. When this team inevitably wins like 7 World Series and he becomes a top coach or a top GM. Okay. Can deal with Arb later after we get our actual scout going. Gotta do dev lab stuff though. Is a big deal. Is there anybody on the team right now? I mean, Logan Webb is obviously very, very good. Only has 2 years left on his deal, which is notable. You might think about extending him. Narcissistic. We don't have a head scout right now. That's fine though. He's really good. We know Logan Webb's really good. Not really any reason to develop him, but you could obviously like increase his toughness, his injury proneness. Looking at people that aren't quite developed, some higher, trying to get to potential. There we go. Guys that haven't reached their potential. I mean, you want to go Eldridge, obviously. You want to get his power up to where it could be. He's got potential light tower power. Kind of just getting him to that point, I think, is really important to his development. And obviously, there's other parts of his game, but I think the best way to unlock that is just going to be getting him to that power potential. Dylan Beavers, I think, is going to be the next one for us that pretty obviously fits in this mold. Was quite solid for us over the last half of the year. More of a developmental, work in progress type of bat. I think same for him. He's going to become a better player. He's going to become the best version of himself. Really just has to work on that bat speed. So I'm just going through the most important players first. The players we're really trying to develop on the team right now. And we have a lot of slots, so we can focus on quite a few players. I think honestly, Wizenhunt's going to fall in this group because he's, just good enough. Just good enough. You think he can become a part of the rotation, long term, and getting there. I think looking at this player, batters against BABIP or BABIP, P BABIP. Maybe that is important, but I don't know if you can actually train that. So I might just be trying to get that changeup, or that slider better, improve his secondaries. So you have secondary pitch improvement, increases pitch movement in general. I don't know if that BABIP would change. It probably would with that. And maybe that's the most important thing. But I think that stuff is probably the most important part of him to potentially improve here. So that might be the focus for me. What's his velocity at? His velocity's fine. Obviously, you could juice a little bit more, but I don't think that's going to be, super important. I think it's really about improving these secondary pitches, which, is this pitch arsenal. He's got to get that off speed better to become a more effective pitcher next year. Maybe, like, the question, I don't know if we want to train Jesus Rodriguez simply because, he's not good enough to warrant it. Granted, obviously, we have 14 slots. But even then, I really, not a crazy bat, doesn't really have true value as a fielder. I don't really see him as being the long-term plans of the organization at this point. And it's kind of the same idea with Drew Gilbert, unless he can really become, an everyday center fielder. But I think he definitely has the edge here for me. I'm surprised Jeremiah Jackson's potential is so bad. Potential at 46 is kind of he's really nothing in the future of this org. Not too bad against lefties, but that eye just kills his, value in any sense. For Furman, I don't really see in the future of the org either. So I think Drew Gilbert actually getting up that, getting that high to where we think it's going to be at is going to be important for him. I think he's a fringy starter for us, but I think he can be a starter in center field. You really just have to trust that, either the fielding can improve or it's just good enough to lock down center field, because he's not going to be a corner outfielder with any value. But just looking at the team, don't really have anybody else in the organization that we think will play center field. So obviously, like the only thing here, developing that plate discipline. Looking at our top prospects here, definitely have a few of them that we want to develop. And obviously the main one is Jackson Flora. Looking at where he is right now, probably around the talent level of, a double A, triple A player. The real question mark for him is always going to be, he's always going to allow home runs. That's not really a question. It's just his stuff kind of makes that a thing. Like it's always going to be a thing with him. And I don't think it's something that, you should be forcing yourself to work around. But looking at those 3 pitches is going to be super important that changeup develops. So ideally, we can improve that. I don't think we're actually able to. Could try to develop another pitch for him. Obviously only a 3-pitch mix, but all of them are so good. I'm not sure that's the right move either. So genuinely, it might just be a spot where, hey, we're going to do our best to get him as developed as possible right now and improve his control. I could see a world where that is the best option. It does feel a little bad to be like, okay, let's just settle for control. But realistically, seeing his personality, not like if he had high work effort, high leadership, you'd say, okay, maybe you trust him to develop that next pitch, develop another pitch, and become a really dominant pitcher with a devastating 4-pitch mix instead of a devastating 3-pitch mix. But I think it's going to be more important to stay safe with him, make sure he's on the development track as much as possible, and just improve that control. Just improve that control. I do have slight concerns about that changeup developing, but his other pitches are good enough that that breaking ball run value is so low. It's interesting. Interesting. I don't know if it really matters. Should have been like 70 grade slider for double A. Should have been pretty effective for him as a pitch. I don't know. Really torn on, he might be fine developing even if we don't improve the control here. So maybe it's just worth shooting for, adding another pitch to his mix. I think I like shooting for the moon. I think we will also try to develop Cooper Sides. Coming out of high school, gave him quite a bit of money to come right into our organization. And I think it's just going to be important to, keep on his development. He's got a lot of talent here. But what do we want to do with that? He's 6'6", 225. He's pretty developed, as a human being. Wouldn't really expect him to get, massive. I was already a pretty solidly built player, frankly. So I'm not sure we want him to work on that strength and conditioning. It's obviously a good thing, definitely, but might not be super necessary. Looking at where he's a little bit behind right now, potentially, though. And this says it's just his pitch mix. His pitch mix needs to develop quite a bit before he's going to be effective. So maybe it could be, be helpful to him to just improve one of those secondaries, a secondary pitch, get that elite slider going, where it's supposed to be going. Get him on that track, and just the fact that it's not that tough theoretically for him to be able to do that is a little appealing. Or you could really focus on getting that home run allowed number up. I think that's less of a concern for me. Really just want those secondaries, those pitches, that stuff to look as nice as possible. Obviously, you'd love to increase the velocity, but I don't want to like push him at 17 or whatever to do that for no reason. And obviously, like endurance, not a ton of reason to do that either. So I just think just working in those secondaries is a good plan for him. Looking at Luis, who's pretty raw. Actually, it's not too bad, but I don't know why he was an A+ ball. We'll probably start in A ball. I mean, honestly, I'd love to just have him in the Dominican Rookie League again this next year. And with these young players, I think it's just so important to try to improve their bat speed as much as possible. Try to improve their swing. Try to get as much power out of the bat, before they've really set that swing in stone sort of deal. So it's a simple answer. He's a smaller guy, but he's got quite a bit of power potential within his smaller frame. Maybe he can get up to a 20 home run per year kind of guy, and also helps him with the obviously aside from the home run power and the just hitting doubles and singles and stuff like that too. Lucas Moore, who we drafted, I think with a guy like this, you're looking more at development than anything else. Played mostly in A+ ball, and that contact is pretty developed. I think you're looking at a guy who you just want to get on base more often, and developing that eye. That's just as important as hitting the ball out is getting on base with that eye. So just improving that plate discipline is going to be huge for him. He's never going to be a power guy, so not too concerned about trying to squeak out another one home run out of him. Focus on your strengths. That plate discipline up is the mental toughness to succeed, I believe. Cooper Harris is like fine. Did draft him in the 5th round. Like maybe I'll take a look. It's not a ton of like other massive talent within our minor league system. So obviously I drafted Camden Johnson, but he's not like it's probably not worth using a slot on him versus somebody more primed to succeed. I don't know. Joshua is a consideration probably. He's only 19. Medium develop risk, has quite a bit of room to develop. Be another guy that you're just like, let's develop the hit tool there. Bo Davidson's 24, not really worth looking at. So it might be Karras, Level, and Gonzalez here. Looking at Harris, not super confident on him on the scouting side, which is where I kind of have my concern. Like, I just don't really trust my scout or what my scout thought on this guy, especially with the 40 control. Like, profile doesn't look crazy anyways. Level is a little bit interesting. Pretty developed at 19, honestly, which is impressive. Looking at him again, just getting these guys with solid power potential. Squeezing as much out of their bats as possible is going to be huge. If they can generate bat speed, it's going to be massive for them. And honestly, like same with Joshua. I don't know. This good game smarts, but doesn't always apply himself is a little bit worrying. But he's a top 100 prospect. He's 19. Try to get that bat speed up as much as possible. Looking at some of these older prospects that are maybe a little bit more developed, hopefully. Wilkinson's not good. Elaine's not good for 22. Can he play is he playing in AA? Yeah, I guess. Slider might develop. Like maybe I'd be kind of interested in him, but potential's just not big enough that I'm super interested or anything. It is definitely a little bit of a weak prospect pool at this point. So I think, developing some of the guys that we have in-house, getting them more help will be pretty big. And potentially, trying to improve the velocity for some of these guys could be kind of nice. some of these guys that maybe you trust more to do so. Logan Webb, narcissistic, apparently. Warren is a born leader, but needs someone to light a fire under him. I don't know. I don't know. Is there anybody on the team that we really think could succeed with a little bit of support on the developmental side? Even one of our older players, you might want to look at Rafi under a very long contract, potentially getting him, more primed for dealing with the injuries later in his career could be a big thing. Both him and Willie Adames, honestly, both on pretty large deals. So maybe I'll do that. Not too much. Not as concerned about Matt Chapman, honestly. Can he not bulk up? Is it not a thing he can do? Yeah, you can't do strength and conditioning. Interesting. Definitely gonna do that with Rafi. I think that's going to be pretty big. Consider doing that with Logan Webb. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it. Is it worth doing something with Willie Adames here? I don't know. Obviously, he's very important to our team. Just is any of this actually going to help him? Probably not. Is there anyone that could, like, any of our starters that could use another pitch or anything like that? Not really. Foster Griffin. Wisenhunt already getting attention. Not really Webb. And Trevor McDonald. The problem is the stuff. Will Warren, obviously, too. Should be listed as a starting pitcher. Move to that 5-man rotation. Actually, go to the 6-man rotation. Who is not a starter now? This is right. This is right. Okay. Oof. A little tired. Little tired. DevLab. Just looking at everybody else, seeing, who really, I mean, Will Warren is the obvious one. At 27, pitched really well last year. Just helping him out just a little bit in this offseason after really struggling in the postseason. It's just the question of, what would aid him the most? What would aid him the most? Maybe it's strength and conditioning. On that rookie deal, not even an ARB left, or in ARB yet. Keeping him healthy as he, goes further into his career. So I might do that with him. And you might argue, do the same thing with Rupp, who's also, 28, just turned 28. Great leadership though, and have him for a long time moving into the future. Just improving the strength and conditioning, trying to keep him uninjured moving into the future. So we have one more spot that we got to figure out what to do with. Is there anybody in particular we think, really deserves it, can be a real piece in the future of the team? I guess Casey Schmidt is a guy you'd look to. It was really good for us last year. Look to improve that eye for him. I guess the one thing he has developed, he's a good player. Keep him developing at 27, get him to a really nice spot next year. I don't know if we'll look to extend him after that deal's over, but I think that could make sense for us. I think the other one maybe Matt Chapman. Obviously locked into a pretty significant contract with him. Maybe trying to keep him healthy as we move into the future could also be important, but probably less of a concern for me. He's already a 50 overall. So he's not, like, if he's putting up 1.7 more a year, not a huge loss if he's, injured, to be completely honest with you. So I think we will go with Casey Schmidt. You could go, he's a tireless worker. That's actually huge. Could go strength and conditioning as well, keeping him healthy. Obviously he had that injury at the end of last year. I don't think that's a huge deal though. And, the eye is where he struggles the most, and that's where our scout thinks he has the most room to develop. So I think, trying to improve that would be huge for him. And if he can go above and beyond and really find a way to improve that to the next level, it'll be huge for us. So that'll be my dev lab stuff. That will be my dev lab stuff. Got our pitching stuff ready. I'll do ARB in a little bit after our scouts hired. International amateurs also after our scouts hired. I think there was one more thing. We can look at potential extensions as well, probably after our scout is hired. Jung-Hoo Lee, is this a team option? It's a player opt-out. I am pretty sure he will not opt out of that. But, who knows? Maybe he'll think he has leverage and stay in the contract or go to free agency and get less, probably. I would not pay him $20 million. I really don't think so. But I would also not pay Rafi this much, probably. Looking at these ratings, which was not that big of a factor for us. But let's probably won't do, maybe I'll do awards this year. Maybe I'll do awards. Could be kind of fun. Seeing who was the best out of everybody. Seeing who will win. After it takes forever to load. There we go. Honestly, my biggest annoyance with this. It's taking so long to load. There we go. Nope. Still struggling. I don't really know why. Did it crash? It's literally just not working. I don't know if I've ever had it happen before like this. Interesting. Interesting. It'd be great if I could switch the page. I think I might have just broke. Not really sure. Shouldn't have done awards then. Shouldn't have done it. Okay, I think I gotta reset. Which means I just gotta hire my coaches again. And Sim, I guess. And do international stuff. Oh, did that work? Oh, it did. Okay. I don't know why it took so long to load. Glad I did not close it out. Looking at the best Gabriel Arias cooked. It's crazy. Why is it taking so long to load the awards pages? My PC's fine. I should have saved. It's doing the same thing that it did. Maybe I literally just can't do it. I don't know. Maybe I should look it up. Taking forever to load. I don't know. I just gotta let it chug for a little bit. And then I will figure it out. Then I will figure it out. Oh. Okay, I will save first. It's also incredibly hot in my room. Very, very hot. Definitely over 80 degrees. Okay, award voting. No, it's just going slow. It's going so slow. Maybe I'll try restarting? I don't really know. I feel like there's no reason for award voting specifically to go 0 miles an hour. But if we don't click on the players, we can do it. Looking at the players who cooked. Jordan cooked. This page just chugging. I clicked on Jordan. I clicked plus, and it took 7 minutes. Okay, I'm restarting. Out of the park. So I would like to do the awards stuff. It's more lets me see which players are doing insane. It's obviously more important in later years when I know less players that are real life dudes, but also did not re-pick up. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Giants. There we go. Okay. Let's hope it doesn't take 7 minutes. Oh, it is. It's still taking 7 minutes. I don't know, man. I gotta look it up at on the forums now. Why? Um, hmm. I don't know. That's weird. Am I just gonna like sit here and have it take forever? That's kind of frustrating. Sorry, I'm going to the forums real quick, seeing if anybody else has had similar issues. It's literally just like took 7 minutes to get Jordan up there, and then it's bugging out again. I can go to Task Manager. It's not like taking up more like my memory. Like on the surface, it appears completely fine. And it's like not working in the slightest. It's kind of just like breaking every 2 seconds. I don't know why. I don't know why. Hmm. Developments forum 27. Technical support maybe. I search here. Um. Where's the search? There we go. Awards. Loading. Obviously, I really do not want to restart my PC. It'd be very annoying. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had this happen before. I don't even know, like, I don't think you're seeing any of it. Like, right now, it's literally just, like, freezing out of the park. I cannot click anything. Um, yeah, I'm trying to click things. And it does not do anything. Let's force close it and hope that nothing breaks. And usually, it would ask me for a thingy. When I closed it, it would ask me to, or it would automatically save. It just kind of crashed. Hopefully my save file is not corrupt. That's always annoying to deal with. I should probably back it up. Should probably back it up. There we go. Yeah, I would love to do the awards. It'd be fun. It's weird because I've not had any other problems on the save at all. Is there another way I can go to award voting? See, it just like, you can see it loading. I don't know why it takes 7 minutes. And it comes here. And it continuously loads again. Go to the All-Star ballot, maybe? It's like, I had to go here. This is Major League Baseball voting page. I'm not sure I can get there any other way. I was obviously able to click on something at some point, so I'm kind of hoping that I'm able to do that again. Last time I did it by clicking out, but I don't know if that's working. I'm trying to scroll down and hoping that does something. Maybe I just can't vote for awards on the sim. This is dumb. Very, very dumb. It's just like, what am I supposed to do? Um, what am I supposed to do? I closed it again, obviously. It also crashed again when I closed it. Maybe I can try, like, re... Hold on, I'm gonna go into Steam. I'm going to go into Out of the Park. I'm going to reinstall, basically. Verify integrity of files. Hopefully that fixes it. I don't really want to do a full install. It says they were validated. I don't know if that means that anything was like changed. Go back to Giants. Should be capturing again, hopefully. It is. Please work. Why? I should just stop clicking it. But I want to do, like, I've set my mind to doing the award stuff. Now it's just like, won't let me. Like, what's weird is like, OBS is seeing it before I see it, which doesn't make any sense to me. That's crazy. Like, I don't even see the awards screen right now. My computer just kind of like becomes sad. And Out of the Park becomes sad. Like, I'm seeing a different thing on OBS than I'm seeing on my actual screen, which is something. Something, I guess. Um, I don't know. I do not know. Out of the Park crashing award voting. It's not technically crashing. It just doesn't let me do anything. Award voting. Maybe I just won't vote for awards. It's literally just like completely broken this time. Weird, weird. I've never had this issue at Park before. This is my first time doing this on this PC, but it's obviously worked in the same version of the game on my laptop, so. This PC is certainly better than my laptop at playing games, theoretically. Alright, I'm just gonna not vote for awards then. I'll plan on trying to do it for later years. I had to like bug fix. I don't even know how I would bug fix it, probably just by reinstalling the game and hoping that it works for whatever reason. It's like here. I can't get to award voting from here. Like the only way to get to award voting is by clicking on this, which immediately kind of breaks stuff. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I can't vote for awards is the bottom line. Um, try going like off-season center. It's transactions. That's not the right page. Everything else is working fine. It's literally just the award voting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll skip it for now. Skip it this year and probably go back and do it again next year and hope that it works. We'll also be able to see the results, obviously. It doesn't even really matter. I just like to look at all the different players. Okay, cool. Seems like everything's working again. And obviously the award voting is not, but we can sim until my coaches are hired, hopefully. He likes it. He likes it. That's cool. And there used to be a sim a day button down here on the right side. I always liked that button. It was kind of cool. I gotta click like up here. Sim a day. And team trainer likes the offer. That's cool. I'd like to see it. I really just want the scouting director to sign. There we go. Really, all that matters. Because now he can like look at my ARB guys a little bit. Though the thing is average. We want to bring Foster Griffin back. I thought he had an option. Oh, I guess he has ARB. Set at $8.5 million. I think it is worth bringing him back. Yeah, it's quite good for us. We really don't have that fifth starting pitcher. 8.5 million is a little expensive, probably, for what he brings, but not having to worry about, a more complicated contract in the off season, I think brings value. I think it brings value. Just get him on not a team friendly deal, but a player friendly deal, and I think we'll be okay with that. I would like to bring Jason Foley back. 2.6 is a little expensive. It's a little expensive, admittedly. It really begs the question, though, like, is it just not worth bringing him back at 2.6 milli? Is it worth, waiting till the off season and then trying to bring him back? The realistic part of the situation is I really don't mind that number too much. Obviously, if there's more, it would matter. But I think it's worth having him back at that. Like, having again, same thing with Foster Griffin, is it's just about stability. Same thing with Henkes. I mean, you don't find many lefties that are able to perform at the level that he is. And Holderman was so good for us last year. Again, stability for 2.2 milli. I'll take that. I will take it. He was actually crazy in the playoffs, and Eric Miller was really good for us as well. So on, and this is very nice for his, a good lefty arm. It's like a legitimate lefty arm. Santos definitely a little more fringy here, because like Foley, I can say okay, he definitely makes our team better. Not sure I genuinely like believe that with Santos, but he's not a bad player. The price is set at $1.2 million. I can do that, and like worst comes to worst, you cut him. You're wasting 1.2 million. It's not a huge deal. Rowan Wick, obviously not really interested in bringing back. And these guys with like the massive movement are just usually perform pretty well compared to what their actual overall is. You definitely want to bring Hasi back, despite a atrocious playoff performance. It was pretty good, and then 1.6 milli for a backup catcher. It's more than worth it. Casey Schmidt is awesome. So this is a crazy contract for him, though. I'm not sure how interested I am to bring him back this long. Probably not very interested, honestly. To be completely real with you, not particularly. Plays like 35. Yeah, he's value because he can play every position, but can't really play any position super, super well. I'm just not super comfortable with a long-term extension for him. Obviously, Male is gone. It's not good. I don't think there's anybody in here that I'm really interested in bringing back either. None of them were like crazy or anything last year. Sabe was like fine. I do want to look at potential extensions though. Looking at guys whose contracts, run out in a little bit, maybe. Most guys are under contract for a while, at least the really important players. Logan Webb is an extension, or a guy that, runs out after another couple of years. But he doesn't want to worry about an extension yet. Wants to take his time with that. Hasi still has a few years of ARB. probably will not be on the team that long. Yeah, there's not a whole ton of candidates that you'd be like, oh, we got to get this guy to an extension now. I think the only ones that you're looking at are like the really young players, and I don't know if we really have any of those that you're like thinking, oh, we got to get them to an extension now. I think the main one is probably Eldridge, theoretically, 22. Get him on like a 9-year deal, buy out a few years of free agency. I think it might be more like 10 year. Like what was the McGonagall contract this year? McGonagall, because obviously it would not be as crazy as that contract, Magoo's contract, but similar precedent here. It was only 8-year extension for McGonagall, so I think it would be fair to probably get a little bit more out of Eldridge, but he's also a year older. So maybe 3 years of free agency. Have it be a 9-year deal. That's not too bad at all. Buy him out until he's 30, and we can work on a deal from there. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe try to make these. I'm fine. I'm fine just signing a deal like this. For a player like this, I think we trust him quite a bit to develop to become at least our first baseman of the future. I'd be more than happy to just get him on a fairly cheap 9-year deal here. 9-year deal here. Buy him out until he's 30. Cool. 9 years, 47 milli. Certainly a lot less than what McGonagall got. McGonagall got $150,000 for those couple of years, and obviously Eldridge, not that kind of player right now. Does not have a crazy year with us, but a player that we really trust developing into the future. Like, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to try to buy out any of Dylan Beavers or anything like that, like for him or for the team. Doesn't become a free agent until he is 30. So that's where I'm at with him. And that's really the only other young talent that maybe you're thinking can be part of the future. So yeah, I think getting that Eldridge contract is pretty nice. And aside from that, not really too worried about extending anyone this offseason. One thing that I personally just do in out of the park, I pretend it's like my GM's thing. I don't deal with anybody during the regular season in terms of contract stuff. I pretty much only deal in the off season. So you'll not see me like extending players very often, or ever in the regular season. Just in the off season, I look to do those extensions. All right, I guess I'll click this and it'll like sort guys out a little bit. Is there anything else I have to do right here? Probably not right now. I would love if my scout had more accuracy on some of these guys, but it's not a huge deal. Is there anyone actually good? No, this is a terrible international free agent class. Like genuinely, really bad. I don't know if I've ever seen a class that's looked this bad. It's so bad. This guy is like OSA thinks he's good. To be fair, my scout very low on him, so maybe he is not that bad. Like we just sim. I think we just sim. He's considering. We got this guy. We're good on that stuff. I think we're solid. Some GM signs, Jordan, injury stuff. That's not good. Kind of sucks that Jordan's dealt with his injuries. Get all our guys signed to their extensions. Brian Helsley gets an extension with the Baltimore Orioles. We are in the NL, but you can look at the AL. Kobe Mayo won a Gold Glove at third base. How? How? He did play a lot of third base. I was expecting like it was a glitch and he'd play a lot of first base, but he was just weirdly insane. Torque, interesting. That'll never happen the way that the Tigers play their defensive infield. And Logan Webb wins it for being a good defender as a pitcher. Cool, cool, cool. Anybody else? Nobody else? Any former players? I don't think we'll win reliever of the year. This wins it for the AL. Anybody interesting in here? Matt Brash is really good. I know we got offered him in one of our trades that we were, thinking about doing because the Mariners were they almost made the playoffs. Oh, they did make the playoffs. That's actually kind of crazy. Not that crazy with three wildcard teams. And obviously Mason Miller. It is good. I think we kind of hit Kevin Ginkel. So we had that Arizona series, right? We hit him for a couple of runs, but it doesn't really matter. Hasi re-ups. Obviously, he was going to. Any interesting names in here? A couple of names of the future with Camarino and McGonigal. I was just talking about. Adley hit really well. Nick Kurtz is a crazy player. Glaber must have had a crazy last couple of months. And I remember seeing his injury. I think it was at the very end of the year, though. Tigers just kept all their good players and didn't trade any of them, and then didn't make the playoffs. Which I don't think is what's going to happen in real life, but I think they will make the playoffs because I believe. I had to have faith. As a Tigers fan, you gotta have faith that they're going to go on like the most insane run. Speaking of which, how are the Tigers doing? I gotta check now. Now that I'm talking about them, they're losing. That doesn't matter. They'll like probably win maybe. 0 hits off of a guy named Mike Paredes. Um, I can't say I've ever heard of him. Can't say that I have. Maybe I should have, but I have not. Okay. What? Hunter Goodman. None of our guys, most importantly. That's less interesting. McGonigal winning Rookie of the Year. None of our guys. Sel Stewart winning Rookie of the Year. Is it like favored to be Weatherholt in real life? He's just so fun, Weatherholt is. Also, this is not what JJ looks like, right? That looks nothing like him. Like that does not look anything like him, right? I have to look up his face. Hold on. Weatherholt. I don't think he looks like this. He doesn't even like have a beard. I don't think he's ever had a beard. I'm trying to like find a picture of him with a beard. He just doesn't have one. I don't know. I don't know, man. It does not look like JJ. I don't think we'll win Manager of the Year, but maybe. Why do I not? Why did I not get it? I don't see who won it. Maybe it's because I don't know. Eldred Signs, that's chill. Schlitter wins AL Cy Young. Now there's Nick Martinez was in second. That's a crazy ERA. Is Nick Martinez cooking in real life? Nick Martinez. It's really funny after watching him for the Reds last year. He is kind of cooking. It's interesting. Interesting player to be cooking, I would say, is Nick Martinez. Just like a random starting pitcher slash reliever. Kevin Williams is just a really good player. 48 or 58 overall honestly seems underrated for how good he is. Yeah. And then Chris Sanchez wins it for the NL. Logan Webb up there. That's cool. That's cool. Alvarez wins the MVP award. Nobody super surprising up here. Josh Young having a very nice season. We saw that Arias had a pretty nice season. Jonathan Aranda. Very, very nice. Obviously, Nick Martinez with the crazy 2.35 ERA across the entire season. And then Shohei very obviously winning it for the NL with like 14 total WAR, aka 12. I do know how to do math. Might have been more like 11. Still a very high number, in my professional opinion, is 11. But if you think about it, kind of low in the grand scheme of things. But how impressive is that season by Shohei, really? Anybody really interesting in here? Like Willie Adama is obviously our team. Logan Webb, he plays for us too. Nobody Nobody's super surprising though. Chad Patrick, pretty crazy year. Had the one no hitter. I think we hit him in the postseason though. I think we got to him a little bit. Kyle Harrison too. I don't think we hit him. Maybe we did in one game and the didn't in the other. I know we at least struggled against him in one game. Um, Marcus Semien retiring? That's crazy. He was still pretty good. He doesn't really hit anymore. He kind of does, but obviously more valuable for his fielding at second base. Okay. Time for. I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye on the posted players. This is usually when some of the good ones show up, right? Also, why is Bryce Elder a free agent? Why was he released by the Braves? This is confusing. I don't know, man. Like, what is out of the park sometimes? Like, why would you release him? Put up 3 WAR. Like this Goldschmidt was released by the Yankees for some reason. It's fine because they wouldn't have re-signed him, but like question mark, you know? This is like what was his contract like? Can I look at contract history? Wasn't making that much. Was still on his rookie deal. I don't know, man. They just didn't want to pay him ARB or something. I don't know. I do not know. I'm gonna try to get through free agency probably today. Then I'll kind of just chill. I'm not feeling 100% or anything. I also forgot to look at posted players. All these guys can go on the roster technically. Birdsong could be a guy for us. I don't know how much I trust that he's gonna be a guy after that torn ACL. Posted players. That's what I wanted to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on him. I just don't like missing him. Some of the time, they're kind of cool. Kind of cool. I guess it's not right now as the posted players. Barb is today. I don't think we have anybody that hasn't signed. We do not. So we should be good on that end of things. Salt River, Tops Mesa. And moving to free agency. Looking at the international guys. I like to take a little look at them. And they're all bad. And I won't sign any of them. There's really no value in any of those players. Tarek Skubal is a free agent, and he's apparently negotiating with the Athletics, which is very funny to think about. I've not looked at the number in the left-hand corner. I assume it's at about 50 milli. Yeah, yep, 53 milli. I'm not going to pay him. I can't. I just refuse to. I refuse to pay him. I will not do it. Is any of our guys on here? Bottomer. It's not one of our players, but is Wahibo Aloy? He was played for Arkansas, right? Yeah, was a late first round pick or something like that. I know John Peck plays for the Tigers. None of our players for the San Francisco Giants, though. Did Flora play in the Arizona Fall League? Thought he did. Well, look how he did. Our scout still likes him, so I'm happy about that. Forget what we had him doing this offseason, but it was something. It was something, I tell you. It was something. Is this it? Maybe. Maybe. Thought I said he was playing in the Arizona Fall League, though. Let's do free agency. What does our team look like? It looks okay. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if we can get if Birdsong ever like appears as a viable option. I think we're going to assume that he starts out in the pen. I'm always looking to add pen options. I mean, Randy Rodriguez is not playing next year. Like, almost might as well just like cut him. Is there any reason not to just like release him? I should have done it before the year, but yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Like, unfortunately, it's not worth holding on to him. Is there anybody else that really Dylan Smith could come back. He's just not like a minor league deal or whatever. Looking at the lineup, though, what do we want it to look like next year? First off, I do want to ideally, like, catcher depth is a thing. Like, we kind of need, like, a starting catcher that we can actually trust. Hasi wasn't too bad for us last year. First of all, I was, like, looking back through the video stuff, and I know I call him Hasi 99% of the time. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I know that it's Eric Haas. I was a Tigers fan. It's just more fun to call him Hasi. So I know if you like popped in here for like 5 minutes and you saw me talking about him and calling him Hasi every time, you'd be like, his name's not Eric Hasi, it's Eric Haas. I just call him Hasi. Um, First base, obviously Devers is going to play there, which is actually kind of frustrating because it basically means Eldridge has to DH. Jung Hoo Lee is kind of like, he is playing right field. Fine with Drew Gilbert playing center field, I guess. Like, it's whatever. He can do it. Beavers, definitely going to be our left fielder versus righties, probably not versus lefties. One of those guys that I'm very happy splitting time. And then you got to play Matt Chapman. Got to play Willie Adames. Obviously, Adames is great. So you're really looking at like second base as somewhere you'd like to fill, as well as center field and catcher. Should we have a second baseman? Casey Schmidt is going to play second base. I don't think there's a question about that. Versus both sides. So, it'll just look like this. It's really just center field and catcher that we're going to take a look at. Yeah. Still have Buddy Kennedy on the team. I really doubt he's going to make the opening day roster, but consider everything. Question is, do we want to go after any big names? We obviously have an insane amount of money, so that's not really a like problem for us. Also, why are tickets so expensive? Can I just make it like $40 instead? I'll do that for now. I don't like having my tickets be expensive. I like having like full capacity. It's cool. I like being a nice like general manager slash owner type. Is there anybody in AAA that I think should definitely be on the team next year? I know. Really nobody. So thing is I'm happy with our starting rotation. Obviously it's not like I refuse to add to it. And theoretically, looking at the last half of this last year, we should be looking to compete. So it's definitely tough to like be like, I don't want anybody good. It really feels like seeing the money we have, I should be investing it. And really, then the question is, who should I be investing in? And it really depends on your idea of value here. Again, I'm going to write these problem positions down. It's not really a problem. Like, Hasi was good enough last season. I'd say that Drew Gilbert was good enough last season. But I'd say you can definitely improve on those positions if you're willing to spend a lot and there's the right player out there. I'd be more than willing to improve. So it's catcher, it's center field, and you're always looking for starting pitching and relief pitching. The reality is guys get injured, right? That was kind of just like a cliffhanger. Like wasn't yeah, I don't know. Guys get injured is the reality of the situation. You always got to be prepared for it. Looking at the center fielders and free agencies that you could potentially sign, I'm never mad about signing someone like Trent Grisham. His numbers are just kind of expensive for this caliber of player to me. 24 milli wants to be, it's going to be, oh, no, definitely not doing that contract. I'd be willing to do a more short-term contract than a guy like that. I don't really trust that Luis Robert is going to be a good long-term option for us. I think out of everybody, definitely the most interest in Trent Grisham. Though I don't even know like how long he can continue playing center field. not even a better current center fielder than our center fielder in terms of the fielding. Varsho, obviously much better in the field, but he's 30, wants $24 million with his bat. I think it's just a little bit out of the price range that I'd be willing to pay. Looking at the catchers, and there's nobody here that's worth investing in for that price tag. Just looking at the batters in general, then, and there's really not any any players that I really think improve us enough to spend $20 million. Again, if it was somebody, it might honestly be Trent Grisham. That is expensive for him. I'm not paying this much for Randy. We don't even really have the space right now in our outfield. Same thing with Ian Happ, just doesn't really make sense for us. Don't have a place to play him. So I think that is going to be no big signings in terms of the batting side of things. Now, I think it would be irresponsible of me to not spend some of the $98 million that we have in the tank. And, looking at the options, I'm going to be, as the Giants, part of this Tarek School discussions. Not really done this before because I'm not used to having money. I think it's absolutely worth it for a player like Tarek School, and he's only looking for 7 years. I'm not going to be looking for a player opt-out. I'm definitely not interested in that. Probably just a 7-year straight deal. I'd be willing to offer right out the back probably like 40 million. I think that's honestly a fair deal. 7 years straight, get him until he's 36. I wouldn't mind that contract. I think that's a fair price for him. He's asking for 53. He is just like an insane player. How does my scout think the injury tag is on him? I mean, his injury proneness is normal. So I think, genuinely looking at it, I'm not super afraid to pay him a lot of money and start the bidding. What would $38 million a year come out to for 7 years? 38 times 7. I guess I can probably do this. I want to make sure this doesn't sound like a lowball to me. It obviously would be in real life, but it's not real life. 266. I can bump it up to 40 a year. Worst comes to worst, he signs at 40 a year. I still have a ridiculous amount of money. It's not a big deal. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Love to get Tarek, obviously. 7 years, $280 million. I think that's a fair deal. If we can get him for that price, I think that's just, honestly, it's value for a player of his caliber, getting him, until he's 36. Not bad at all. And if we get him, there's really not any need to, I'd definitely rather pay, 40 million to Tarek versus, potentially, 20 million to Casey Mize. You might not get 24, but he's probably going to get at least 18 for an extended period of time. So, would not be mad about that contract at all if he does sign it. Looking at the other options, I would love to take a look at Gratterall. Get that scouting report done at the very least. Looks like he dealt with an injury. That's probably, yeah, keeping me from really knowing his true potential, but looking at the price tag that he's demanding for how good my scout thinks he is, a little bit of a mismatch there, certainly. Is it because he has batting ratings or something? No, maybe it is. I don't know. No. Just making sure it's not the weird bug in the game. Fairbanks and Hunter Harvey are fairly affordable, but I know Hunter Harvey is usually fragile. And the stats, the numbers themselves aren't that crazy. IMO. Looking beyond that, it may be some value propositions we can get here. I kind of just like going through the pitchers in free agency. one by one, kind of seeing. I don't think if we get Tarek, obviously we're not going to be looking at any of the. Also, Alex Vesia asking for $22 million is crazy, crazy. Does he want to be a starter or something? No, he just wants to be a closer. I guess he was good last year, but it's a crazy figure for me to think about for Vesia, to be honest. Um, I do like just signing like a few relief pitchers every year that I think, are will be able to make a strong impression. The numbers look good. Not asking for a ton of money. I mean, Taylor Clark would be one of those. Had a pretty solid year last year for both the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. Just a pretty good player overall. I think I will get my scout to like at least talk to him. At least talk to him. Um, Danielle is fine. Wants a little bit too much money for his talent though. Duvall is not asking for a lot. I mean, this looks fairly affordable as well. Obviously, that fastball was so poor last year, though. But the xERA was really nice. So I think, like, honestly, and I'm just gonna request a scouting report so I remember that I'm kind of looking at him as a potential option. A lot of these guys are kind of affordable for what I think they offer for a pen arm. And Duvall like pitches well next year. Then you want to bring him up back for the next year, and it can kind of be like a 5-year thing in the end where you're getting really affordable rates for a good relief pitcher. Um, don't know if I'm as interested like an aging Jason Adam, but definitely still a good player at the very least. Boyd asking for a lot of money. Oof. Like just looking at these figures, like getting a Scuba for 40 mil is looks like a steal, right? Looks like a steal. Evan Phillips, pretty solid still. I don't know. He didn't perform particularly well last season. My scout likes him quite a bit. I think it's worth, taking a look, especially for that $2 million price tag. Could just be a one of those where it's like it's worth it, right? Um, don't know if I'm super interested in Brian Abreu. Kinkle was really good last year. Like, really, you just find like affordable players here in terms of the relief pitching group. These 51 overall guys, they're not crazy, but they're gonna bring you value for this price tag. I don't know if I'm as interested in Matsui. 31, poor control. Did pitch well last year though. Bednar, you just see there's so many really like genuinely good pitchers here. Um, that come with a very affordable price tag. And I think if you're looking for a starting pitcher that doesn't cost, $1 million, again, this range, just pick up Sandy Alcantara, and it's a really, fantastic value for you. Never gonna bring anything in like huge, but 4.4 million can fill a spot for you. Like that's not bad at all. Didrik Ends is injured. Riley O'Brien. I mean, this looks like a genuinely a pretty fantastic deal here for this kind of player. Those high movement guys always seem to outperform their actual overall. So I would not mind bringing him in at all. Not as big on these like across the board pretty solid players. Also, Brooks Raley is 38. Had a very strong year last year though, so definitely a lot of talent here. I would not mind bringing in another lefty. Well, that was rough. But not mind bringing in another lefty. Um, Jojo Romero, definitely an option. Definitely better than Brooks Raley was last season at the very least. Overall scouting's low, but wouldn't be too concerned about that. Yeah, 9 million, offered Mike Soroka $5 million. It's a fairly affordable deal. His pitching rating value was so bad last year, but apparently he just put in innings. It's kind of crazy that he had 2.3 WAR with negative 17.7 pitching run value. Yeah, those might be the guys that I primarily keep my eye on. Will Vest is okay. There's a lot of like very solid talent here. Zach Eflin, only looking for 3.8 milli. So doesn't really make sense for us here. Um, Unless we don't sign Skubal or something and you want a 6 starting pitcher. Corey, oh, he was international. I was like, how is he so insane? He's fine. And the price tag isn't crazy for him. Minter the lefty. Starting to get into, less talented players here. Players that I'd be less interested in, deeper in the overalls of free agency. So yeah, I think everyone that I will be interested in is probably above this, just in terms of having the prerequisite stuff / movement. Looking at some batters real quick. I'm always going to be okay looking at some hitters that can potentially platoon for us. So just guys that, hit righties really well or hit lefties really, really well, like one of the two, basically. I think is going to be valuable. Probably not going to be, interested in any of these top players that want $20 million. If you can find a guy down here that wants $7 million, is willing to, be on the bench some days and can platoon for us, I think you could definitely, that could be worth it. Especially if you're looking for guys versus lefties, probably. We kind of struggled, we really relied on guys like Jesus Rodriguez, guys like Buddy Kennedy later in the year. Or if you can just find like a little bit of an upgrade over them, it could be worth shelling out a little bit of money. So looking at some batting numbers here. Power versus righties. Jake Bauers is in free agency. Obviously, he killed us a little bit as a member of the Brewers. Don't really have a spot for him on the team, though. This is versus righties, so really, if you're looking for platoon versus righties, we don't have that many lefties in total, but the ones that we do fill up a good deal of the lineup. I think if you were to look at a lefty to join the lineup, probably be looking at, catcher, an infielder, probably. Probably. It's like a guy like Brennan Lau, you'd obviously not mind at all, but his price tag is going to be pretty high. Pretty high. Shavarin is pure first base, so probably not super interested in him. Jazz is going to want a lot of money. So again, looking more at the lower overall kind of players, like the 48s. Eugenio Suarez, probably not super interested in riding the bench with us. I'm not super interested in Hoskins. Relvis Martinez has massive power, has no contact. And you can kind of just look at the lefties here. I don't really see anybody in particular so far. But, 55 power is also fine. Tyler Austin isn't too bad of a player, just doesn't really field enough to warrant a spot on our team, at least. I think you'd want at least, 45 contact with 55 power. Alex Dickerson is still a player. That's kind of crazy to me. Yankiel's not that bad. Does want $11 million and can only play right field, though. Like, how did he become a minor league free agent? Yankees just let him go? I kind of hate that. I might just manually put this guy back in the Yankees. Because that annoys me. That out of the park, does that, Kind of annoys me. Where is he? Right here. Editor. My jank paper mouse pad is not working. Yankees. New York Yankees. There we go. Back on the Yankees. It was the Yankees, right? How did he get to the Yankees? He selected off waivers. Like, why is this guy in waivers? He's a 54 potential, I was like, I didn't think Yankiel played on the Yankees. I was right. I don't know. He's going to be on the Yankees, I guess. I don't know. just some out of the park jank. Yeah, I don't really see any super. Why is Brady House? Why is Brady House in free agency? What are the Nationals doing? I gotta fix this. I gotta fix it. Um, Washington. There's literally like no incentive for them to let him go. So, anybody else that looks interesting? Not really, I don't think. Valera's fine. It's a lot of outfielders. Which is obviously fine. Just doesn't really appeal. It's kind of fine that the Guardians allowed him to be a minor league free agent. If they didn't ever think he was going to be like an actual MLBer, and looking at the stats, like probably not. Kind of developed, but just doesn't have the potential there. Um, yeah. So let's look at some batting numbers versus lefties. Obviously, you're looking for somebody that can really mash lefties theoretically. Suarez can only play third base. I'm just not super interested there. Tyler Austin, good hitter. I'd honestly be kind of interested in bringing him in. Um, Basically, as a lefties only guy, but he is quite good at hitting lefties. Bowers is just good overall, but he wants a lot of money, so we'll not be giving him that, most likely. Yeah. Luis Robert mashes lefties, but again, 10 milli. Maybe I'd consider it. I don't want to get a scouting report on him. So I think out of all like the center fielders in free agency, he'd be the one that I'd consider signing the most. But yeah, I think I'll extend an offer to Tyler Austin on the first day of free agency. Just maybe give him a base like 2600 million, whatever, however you'd say that. Um, and maybe look at the relievers one more time. I do want to look at the catchers as well. See if there's anybody that's actually, you know, maybe worth going for. So who are the guys that I had my eye on overall? It was Gratterall, it was Taylor Clark, it was Duvall, it was Evan Phillips, it was Kevin Ginkel, and the lefties. Probably going to potentially look for the ones that are the most scouted for me. That includes Camilo Duvall. Certainly an interesting player. Wasn't that good last year. It's a little bit concerning for me, but that xERA was incredible. And my scout does like him the most. So I might be looking to offer him a contract just because that's so affordable for me. And my scout thinks he can fill a setup role. Just kind of chill. Kind of chill. I think I do want to look at Ginkel eventually. If it gets later in free agency and still feel like you need the guys. So you can probably do like a 3-year deal. Go like 2 milli a year. And do the double team option strat. I cannot make him closer. So I might not be happy about that. What if I offer him 3 milli and not guarantee the closer role? Yeah, he doesn't mind that. I think that's a fair deal for both sides here. Ginkel's the other righty that I think I'd really consider here. Thing is, like, I'd probably rather have Gratterall or like Taylor Clark if they're actually as good as, advertised. And probably look at one of these guys later on. So maybe hold out for that right now. Have our 3 offers out at the very beginning of free agency and move on from there. How is the international stuff? Should probably check on that. All these guys are just not good looking. Tamayo looks like fine, I guess. We are low on him, but 69 potential, not bad at all. As long as he's being the Hoosier Thunderbolt. That makes me want him certainly a lot more. Is that his nickname is the the Hoosier Thunderbolt. Scouting. International. Sure, fill them out. They're all just really bad. My scout likes Tamayo, though. So I like Tamayo. And his nickname is the Hoosier Thunderbolt. So I kind of gotta sign him. Kinda gotta sign him. These guys are just not. It's a really bad international class, based on what I'm seeing. Yeah, my allergies are getting to me a little bit. That's all right though. We'll keep going. We'll grind until the end of free agency. Hmm. Okay. Got my offers out. Is there anything else I need to do right now? I don't think so. I think we're chilling. Let's sim. Let us sim. No updates. Interesting. Tarek's got a better offer from the Royals. Is interesting. Um. Also, my scout says Camille Duvall's worse. He looks like an average reliever. Hmm. I guess this is maybe my old scout that said he was the 53 overall, maybe? I don't know. Definitely less excited about him, if that's the case. He's still throwing 99 to 101, still 29. I'm gonna like take away that contract, maybe. Probably. Um, Evan Phillips still looks pretty good. I don't really feel like we have to pick him up, though. Roldis signs a 2-year, $48 million contract. That's quite a bit. Quite a bit. Ginkle's fine, basically what we thought. Robert, fine. It's really just his value versus lefties, and I don't think $10 million at least, and he's obviously going to want to be a starter, where we sign him, he's not going to be a everyday starter. Romero looks okay. O'Brien looks worse, probably. So I think I will try to sign Jojo Romero. Get another lefty in the pen. And this is quite the affordable contract for him. As a lefty specialist, that's quite good. Quite a good player. Who else was I looking at? Taylor Clark. I think he might be the other name that I look at potentially bringing in. And Gratterall. Gratterall's still very highly rated. Maybe I'd look at bringing in both of them, honestly. It's a very affordable contract here. Maybe try to do the strategy again. Maybe I do withdraw that contract from Camille Doval. Really don't need that many relief pitchers, but I think Taylor Clark is just, pretty clearly better. I want to prevent a log jam at least. Because Holderman's got to roll like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers, like have a 100% a roll. And 10 do total. So you can really only bring in 3 guys max. One of those is a lefty. So I think I am going to pivot to bringing in Taylor Clark, but then again, $6 million is quite a bit. Quite a bit. If I could get him for 4, I mean, he's just not that crazy. Serious platoon issues. Yeah, maybe I do keep with the just focusing on these 3 pitchers. And School needs a new contract. 44 a year, I can do that, man. I can do that easy. Not even a consideration. I'd probably be willing to go up to like 52-ish. Looking at our available contract space and just what Tarek's probably worth. I also refuse to let him go to the Royals. That'd be disgusting. Very gross. What am I doing? Can I manage player development? Like, what is this? I should turn this up. Let's set this at 19 million. I don't think that should have done anything, but maybe it did. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Okay. Draft budget's fine. International. Set it there. Cool. Cool. Cool, cool. All right. I think we're all set. Or anything else I have to do? I keep like stopping, but yeah, I think we're chill.